Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Sam's Financial Corner. And today we're going to talk about the dreaded interview process. We all dread the interview. God, you have so many. You're nervous, you get butterflies, all kinds of stuff. And before we get into it, I'm just going to share a little bit about something I did that was kind of bad. And don't do it in interviews. Be better. Be better than me. You know how our parents say, don't be like me. Don't do what I do. Do what I say. Be better than me. I just want to share this because it was kind of funny to me. And I just feel like it. So I had an interview with this organization. They were a nonprofit, and I showed up, I did everything I was supposed to do. And, I hate interviews when there are a whole bunch of people. Not because it makes me nervous, because here's the mentality I go with. One or two things are going to happen. Either I'm going to get the job or I'm not. Either one of those things are going to happen. So I go in, I give my best, and we'll see from there. So with several people, I think one of the reasons I do hate the several people is that oftentimes, I know they may be a team of decision makers and blah, 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 but oftentimes I'm thinking, and a lot of people think this way too, I'm really not going to work with this person. So why are they in here? I understand they may be doing it for the decision making aspect, but I'm thinking I want to always talk with who will be supervising me? Who will I have to report to? Because that is going to be one of the things that lets me know whether I'm going to really want this job or not. Because at the end of the day, personalities are very, very important. You do not want to have a supervisor or manager that makes you think, you know what? Maybe orange is my color. Okay? So I had an interview. It was a couple of people. There was like 3 people. And then there was the woman who was going to be my supervisor. But then, because it was a table. Let me set it up for you. So this long little boardroom table. I'm on one side. We got about 3 or 4, I think about 2 or 3. And then it was her. And then at a certain point, the other people she supervised, who would have been my potential coworkers, came in. So it was a lot of people. It was towards the end of the day. I had a long day at work, but I'm like, fine, let me give my best foot forward. So other people interview, I'm going back and forth. Then she comes in and I meet her and I'm like, okay. But then some of my potential coworkers come in too. And so as the interview process and we're asking me questions, I'm not paying attention to my potential supervisor. I'm looking at these people over here on the side because I'm like, they hate her. They can't stand her. They want to fight her. And it was so evident. And I'm asking myself this question, do I want to work here? And I'm like, no, I already have my pain. I don't want to come into obviously a new kind of one. So I asked questions. I was extremely blunt and honest, and I made them all laugh. I could just see her face tightening, and I got joy because I was like, if they hate you that much, I don't want to work with you either. And then I was like, thank you all for interviewing me. This has been wonderful. I'll see myself out. Good day. I know that wasn't the right thing to do. Please don't do that. But the reason I wanted to say that and make a point of it is there are going to come times when you're interviewing with people and you just going to know that it's not going to work. Don't waste their time and don't waste your own. Definitely don't waste your own. And I know that it may seem rude, but this is my advice to you. If at any point during the interview, you know within yourself that this company is not going to work for you, end the interview. End it. You have the power to end the interview, not this person. or not solely this person. They can interview it they can end it as well, but you can too. Don't sit up here in these interviews and act like you have no power, because you do. The interview process is a two-way street. Uno, dos. It's a two-way street. Two ways, not just a one way, two ways. When you go to meet with them, they are interviewing you, and you better interview them, because you want to make sure that the culture and the person you're going to work with and the job are the right fit for you. Because if you don't do that, you can set yourself up for failure in the future. Do not set yourself up that way. So my advice, always, 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 always remember that the interview process is a two-way street. You better interview them. You better. That is your job when you're going in. That is your responsibility when you go in an interview. They are not just interviewing you, you are interviewing them. You need to find out certain things, and we're going to go over that. This video is going to be a little lengthy, so I'm going to try to speed it up as fast as I can, because I don't like my videos to be long. I don't like long-winded videos, but I wanted to share that little anecdote because sometimes it's just fun to share fun stuff. But I want you to, if you don't walk away with anything else, understand your power in the interview process. It's a two-way street. Let go of that mentality that I need a job and I'll just accept anything, because that's the problem. We will just always accept anything because we're in need, and I get it. We have families. We have people who rely on us. You know, when I'm looking at the jobless claims that are out there and you see the record amount, I think we're up to around 47 million at this point. I'm not 100% sure. But that one job, people like, yeah, they lost their job, yeah. But how many people are relying on that person? A lot of people, a lot of Americans migrated from other areas. They came to this country to have a better life, and they send money back home. So I know for those who don't have, they don't understand, but let me tell you this. Someone's working here in the States, and I'm getting off topic, but I just want to bring a point home. You're sending money back home. You could be supporting 4, 5, 6 people with maybe $200 or $300. We're here, that wouldn't take care of nothing. But back home, that takes care of everything. And so people like, well, yeah, it's just a job, and I understand it and I get it. But when people lose their jobs, the amount of money they can send and do and take care of other people, there are vast connections that we just don't see. And so that's the point that I want to make. And sorry for getting off topic, but getting back on topic to the interview process. Don't just accept anything, even if you're in need, unless you absolutely have to, and then have a plan to do something else. Because sometimes we'll be like, all right, I just need a job, I'll just take it, and then that's it. No. If you are in that situation when you like, oh my God, I need a job, I need it, I just gotta take it for the interim, and then try to find something else as quickly as you can. But I want to go over just a few of the common questions, and you can do Google search. I may put some descriptions, and not description, but some links to common questions, etc. But I just want to go over a few things, because it's important for the interview to be prepped. You got to prep yourself. My suggestion, always know what you're going to wear the night before. Have everything laid out, make sure it's ironed, whatever else. You don't want to be doing a lot of things at the last minute. For the interview process also, they're going to ask you some common questions. One question is, why are you leaving your job? You can't say, I don't like my supervisor, I want to high-five them in the face with a brick. That's a no-no. That may be how you feel, but trust me, that's not going to fly. Always, always make it a statement about you to say that at this moment in my career, I'm looking for job growth, and I believe that this opportunity that I'm applying for is going to allow me to take the next step in my careers. See, that sounds a lot nicer than I can't stand my supervisor or anything like that. Never say anything like that. Don't make it anything like that. Make it an I statement that it's about you and that you want to grow to the next level, or you think that this new position or this potential employer, the position will challenge you in new ways. It's going to help you grow. You want to make sure that they're positive statements. What are your weaknesses? Now, this is a common one, and people tend to flip out because they say, well, I'm short-tempered, or I'm not this, or I'm not that. That in an interview, you always want to show yourself in the best light. So my suggestion for this question is, now you can list and say, you know, I was not as skilled at communicating effectively, you know, in written word or whatever else, and you know, through trainings and whatever, I learned how to, or I had this issue. You always want to show that whatever it is that you've overcome it, that it's no longer a weakness. You can say, I'm a perfectionist. That's, you know, people use that, but that's not going to really work. It's one of those questions where they're trying to get inside your head, and you want to always be able to show that no matter what it is, you're on top of it. Or you can say, I really don't have any weaknesses, but with this job, I've learned how to communicate more effectively with people. I've learned how to articulate myself in such a manner that I can now formulate when there are issues, and I know when is the best time to go to my manager and speak to them directly versus when something needs to be an email, etc. You can make those type of statements. You always want to show that you're growing, evolving, etc. You don't want to say, I'm stubborn, I don't like people, no one tell me what. You can't do that, and you just shouldn't. Here's another one that they'll ask you, well, why should we hire you? Or why do you think you're the ideal candidate for this position? And this one stumps a lot of people because we normally don't like to talk about ourselves and what we're great at and who we are. But this is the opportunity for you to just let it go and just say why you're the best candidate for this position and why you believe you're the best. You can say education, you can say skill set, whatever it is that you believe that you can offer to this employer. State it. Believe in yourself. Give a good I statement. And it's good to practice these questions so that when they're asking you, it's not the first time. You already at least have when I'm going for an interview, because God, I've done so many over the years. To be honest, there really is no question that doesn't stump me at this point, because I've been asked all of them, even the inappropriate questions. And with those, you know, you don't have to answer them. Just know you don't have to. But go in there with the mindset of, I'm interviewing them as well. So I don't want this video to be too long, so I want to go into some of the other questions that I feel you must ask. These are a must, because it's important. Because here's the thing, and I've done this before in interviews where they ask you, do you have any questions? I'm like, no, I don't have any questions. And I've had them look at me like, is he serious? You don't really have it? No, I don't have any questions. I'm okay. And I didn't understand that at that point I had failed, because the interview process is a two-way street. You must always ask them questions. Now, I did have a time where I had questions lined up, and throughout the process, they answered all of them. So I kind of just went back and said, well, I did have this question, but you answered this, you answered that. So at this point, you've answered every question that I had. So I feel very comfortable, very whatever. You want to make sure that you're engaged. The reason is because the interview process is a two-way street, but it's also communication. And if the interviewer is doing all the talking and you're just responding, then it's not a conversation. And then they become unsure of you. So here are questions that I want you to ask. Number one, what is the typical workday for this position? Why? I've had it done. We've all been there. And a person, you look at a job description, you get a job and you get it and you're like, this is not what the job description said. That's why that question is very important. You want to know what is the typical workday, because you want to be like, now what you put here that I'm going to be doing, is that going to be really what I'll be doing? Or is this because you all did a little Google search and you say, okay, for this title, that's what these duties should be, but that's not really what I'm going to be doing. You want to make sure that what they put in writing that you're going to do is the same thing that they're saying in the interview. You want to make sure there's that alignment. And if it's not, I wouldn't take the job. Number two, a question I ask, which is kind of fun because it throws them. Remember, it's an interview process. They came with all their questions. They've been interviewing people left and right. So they're on autopilot. If you notice, most of them, they're on autopilot, or they're kind of distracted from other things in life or work or whatever else. And this is one question that kind of can distract people, not distract, but kind of make them go off of autopilot and start to be more present in the interview. What personality type are you looking for in the ideal candidate? The reason I ask that question is because sometimes these interviewers they're looking for a particular type of person. Sometimes interviewers want a person who's more kind of maybe a little outspoken, someone who's opinionated, someone who's going to speak up when there are problems, because in the past they've had people who haven't, and them not speaking up has caused problems. Or also they worked with someone who had a very strong, domineering personality and they didn't get along with others. So now they're looking for someone who can get along well with people. And this is a good way to kind of see the personality type that they're looking for. And you know your personality, so then you know, okay, I think I'm going to be a good fit or not. It's a great question because you can also tie it back in. A third question I ask, is this a new position? And if not, why is it vacant? And that's why, because I want to know, did the person leave of their own volition? Did the person quit suddenly? What happened? The more honest they are, I interviewed with somebody, an organization recently, they said, well, such and such has been here for 30 years and he's retiring. Bam. See, that was an honest answer. The answer was just there, whatever. The longer they take or they hesitate, just know that there was some sort of issue. And that's what I'm kind of looking for too, to see if I can find out kind of what the issue is. And don't interrupt the person, let them speak. But if they take too long, something happened. And it's good to kind of get a feel, if you can, for what happened. Because sometimes while people may not directly say it, they may indirectly let you know what happened. And that's very important. The most important question, and this is the last one I ask, and I encourage you to ask every potential employer. And this is the time when there are more people in the room, it's better. It's absolutely better. Why do you like working here? No one is prepared for that question, and let me tell you why. Because that's not the typical, well, I ask these questions, oh, they're going to probably ask me about salary. They may ask me about job duties. No one's going to ask me on a personal level, why do I like working here? It changes the entire energy of the interview, and it makes it more personal and heartfelt. The more personal and heartfelt a person's response is, the more honest they will tend to be. People will tend to be honest even when they don't want to be. And you want to know, do they really enjoy working here or they really hate this place? People will tend to be relatively honest. And it's a great way to really see. I had an interview and I asked this question. This lady went on for 10 minutes talking about why she liked the place. Her eyes lit up, her face was all aglow. She was excited. She really enjoyed working there. And I was like, wow, okay. And it made me want to work there. That's what you're looking for. If you don't get that same type of excitement or energy when someone is talking about where they work, 9 times out of 10, that's not going to work for you. If people give, oh, well, you know, they're a really nice group of people. They give very blanket, bland statements. They don't like working there, and they're trying to hide that. But you're smart enough to ascertain that. Those 4 questions are the questions you should always ask, always, because you want to make sure that this environment is going to be suited for you. And of course, there are going to be things that you won't see, until you start working there. But by asking those questions, you'll be able to get a feel for their environment before you start working there. And then you'll be able to ask the questions to yourself after the interview. Because after the interview is done, what I want you to do is sit, if you drove or however you got there, sit for a few minutes and ask yourself, how did I feel in this interview? Did I feel comfortable? Did I feel relaxed? Was the atmosphere warm and welcoming? How did I feel? Because that is going to give you a good indicator of whether this job is good for you. Don't always forget, don't forget at the end to email whoever it was and just tell them thank you for interviewing with me. It's still a great thing to do. So I'm going to end the video right there. Video is longer than I wanted to be, but I drove home the points that I wanted to. Thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And just know that it's a two-way street. It takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of effort, but always be yourself. Be fully present, and don't be afraid to end the interview if you don't think it's going to work out for you. All right, thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Take care. Bye.